Hey everybody, just before you get into the post-show with Chris, I appeared on another project and I thought I'd talk about it here because it was a huge amount of fun and I would really like you to go and listen to it. I was a guest on Side Character Quest, which is a fantastic single-player RPG show hosted by Ty, who you have heard on this show if you're up to date. He was one of the guests during the Up in the Air arc. It's a fantastic actual play show focusing on characters who are not usually the main character of a TTRPG show, doing quests that are not usually the main quest of a TTRPG show. I loved it. We had a lot of fun recording it. The first episode is out now, including as well the Session 0 where we make the character, which is also a lot of fun. There'll be a link in the show notes as well, so check it out. It was a lot of fun to make. All right, into the post-show. Welcome to Podcast This Escape, the podcast where we talk about the escape room we escaped from in the previous episode of this podcast. Chris, thank you so much. That was great fun.
Thank you. It's it's hard. I think it's a really hard one. I didn't mean to make it hard, but
I don't know if I would have said it was very hard.
It was good, and I thought I felt appropriate challenge and appropriate level of like proud, especially when it came to the like sort of physical challenges of the room, remembering certain things, like of course remembering that we had a water bottle. I feel great about that.
Oh yeah, I think the only thing that really tripped us up for a while was fully dealing with this spider puzzle. And that wasn't even necessarily difficulty in the puzzle itself, but more an assumption based on interactions of like, there's a thing making us sleepy and there's a bunch of sleepy spiders. And so I assumed not to even really try too hard on the puzzle.
You went for the same cause of sleepiness.
Until we had solved that problem. Then it turned out in the end, that was not a problem for the spiders. And there was a different thing to engage the flies and the spiders. And once we got to the point of basically kind of being told, hey, no, you can do this, it didn't take us a huge amount of time.
No, even with everything cascaded nicely.
Even with the idea of like not really knowing the bread, not really knowing the wine, it still made sense as to what they were. And with a nice thing of the wine being the thing that looked like a wine being the final word, so you know that if bread's somewhere, it's got to be in between there.
That's fair.
And it helps you kind of look. So really, the only thing that we got stuck on was just an understanding of exactly what we could do. But what it meant was that when we finally did it, we'd already done everything. We'd already solved everything else. So
it was like we were spotting the arrows, but not the words above the arrows that told us exactly what was connecting.
I don't think it was too hard in any way.
Oh, I don't think it was too hard. No, I felt great about the level of challenge that it provided. And it was nice. Like there are clues hidden in everything, pretty much. So it was nice just being able to take anything that we're reading and be able to skim them and take notes and go, oh yeah, that's important. That's important. I think this is going to be important, even if I can't use it yet.
Yes, everything called back to itself really nicely. It was nice to remember the water, even at the beginning, as well as remembering it.
I love a good, just stick something innocuous in the intro.
Yeah.
I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, we should have remembered the entire time we've had a big kitchen knife we could have cut the rope with because we're dressed like Chucky. That's why the bouncer didn't let us into the club.
That's it. You weren't
go
scared
and you have to put down the
was
big,
pretty
sharp
foolish.
knife.
I want to compliment your storytelling. You painted a very artful picture as you went through it. Something that the more I've done of these, the sort of lazier I feel I have gotten with them, as I tend to get more and more irreverent.
But no, it was. The story was really lovely. It was very well expressed. Things looked like you could kind of picture the space you were in a nice way. It was, everything came back and made sense. The characters stayed reasonable characters the whole way through. Like it was clear who was who and what was going on.
We didn't get lost in it at any point. It was all very reasonable. It was a thorough, complete story.
Nice, thank you.
From the perspective of having written this, is there any part of this that you enjoy the most or you're most proud of from a design point of view?
So I kind of, with this one, started with the story. And I had this idea, like the narrative kind of set up in my head first. I'm an actor and a singer. Although I work in the escape rooms and things, I got to do that to pay the bills. But when I'm not doing that and someone is willing to hire me, I'm an actor and a singer. So storytelling is a big part of what I do. And I thought this was a good opportunity to kind of do a bit of a writing exercise. So I had the idea of the plot kind of loosely in my head to start with. So I am really happy with how that all panned out and how I was able to make the puzzles slot into the story that I'd come up with. I mean, it's not the most unpredictable story in the world, but I think I just enjoyed the process of
absolutely
kind of piecing it all together.
Yeah.
The little magic trick is something that I've, in every playtest of it, I've had to tweak it slightly how it's phrased and how it's introduced. Because the first few times it was so clunky where I'd be like, okay, so what I'm meaning is, what you need to do is, and finding a way of actually explaining it without explaining, I'm about to do a little trick with magic numbers. So I think I've got that into a place now that I'm really happy with.
Yeah, nice. I'm glad it was. I think it was good the way it was. I think there's too much potential for it unraveling horribly if you tried to do it in like a, here is the fancily worded rhyme that is going to make it all fall into place.
Yeah, just keeping it nice and simple and like really clear instructions became very apparent. That's what I was going to have to do with it. But so I'm pretty chuffed with that.
Now, on a story perspective, tell us about the real world Necropolis. Like, tell us a little bit about this.
So it's this really gorgeous part of the city in the kind of the eastern part of Glasgow City. And there is this really large cathedral. Well, it's not a really large cathedral. It's a cathedral of Gothic design. It's got really gorgeous, like dark brickwork. And then you do genuinely get led along this little bridge that takes you into the Necropolis. And it's this massive kind of mound with just loads of gravestones and mausoleums, and it gives you a really gorgeous view of the city from the very, very top. There's a whole variety of people there as well. There's a little Jewish sections. There's like a cute little area where it's a lot of people from the 1800s who were Jewish that are all buried in that area. And then you go higher up, and it's obviously the richer people are higher up. That's where the fancy buildings are.
Of course.
Of course. But the reason I got interested in the mausoleum or the Necropolis, is that I'm really into true crime, especially historical true crime.
Ah, okay.
And a lot of the people that I've read about and done research on are buried at the Necropolis. So people who were victims of crime. It's really cool. It's a really, really nice spot. And it's a nice place for a walk. And people do go there to kind of just have a wander. It's not really... People don't really get buried there now, I don't think. But it's just a really cute, like, old graveyard.
Oh, nice.
Spooky.
We got buried there.
That's true, we just did.
Yeah, you did. But luckily you escaped and you're now walking among us like a zombie, which is nice.
We only had mild property damage.
Oh, yeah. I think you're probably still inheriting something from Casper now that you know about him.
But as far as proud moments in the room...
Oh, sure.
Do you have anything in particular that stands out for you? Because I have one that I would like to nominate for you.
Oh, and what is that?
When we were reading the epitaph... That's the word I want, epitaph?
Yeah.
Of all
Epithets.
of the... No.
This person sucks. What a loser.
Of the
what
family.
A dead idiot.
So I read the first one. We saw their name. I immediately was seeing that their initials spelled the animal heads that we were looking for. Like the first person's initials were C-A-T.
Sure.
You just had a moment of, oh my God, wait, how long did this guy live? And then you went, 103? 103?
Oh
wait a second.
And I think I also saw the directions in the quotes as well.
Yeah, well done. I thought that those felt important, but I didn't just spot single word directions to hone in on.
I will say I would never have remembered we had that water bottle. So very good getting that.
That's the sort of thing that I like.
And of course, it's always nice to be able to trust you for all of the alphabet moving around things. You're very good at that, especially backwards alphabet.
It's fun sometimes to be able to rely on just little bits of knowledge and skill. Like, it's totally not needed for an escape room to have these little extra bits and pieces, but when you get to use them, it's a good muscle to flex.
Yeah, and it's good to have some process to do as well.
That whole section of that puzzle with the little plaques and everything, you did that very fast. I've had people sit there for like 20 minutes trying to work through it, even with the alphabet written down. So it's very impressive. It's a very impressive skill to have.
Dani is very good at this, really well. I did like seeing numbers above 10 We're like, maybe it'll just have numbers above 10.
Maybe
Let's just wait. Let's see how it goes. They've given us this list that goes up to 14. Maybe it'll just go up to 14. And it does, which was lovely.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, it was nice when that happened because we did find a lot of pieces and going, I wonder, I think this might be what this does, but we're clearly not there yet. And then when it did happen, it meant everyone got to feel good about themselves.
Yeah. That's the thing, especially the second portion of the game, is that you access so much information all at once. And I like a non-linear escape room, so I tried to make it as non-linear as possible. So it is a case of like slowly working your way through things to get the stuff you need, but then once you've got it, you fly through the rest of it. I love when that happens.
You really deceived me hard at some points, and that was definitely one of them. I was already, when we got inside the coffin, I was going, man, I'm going to like have to have a compliment and say, wow, amazing to create such a compact room that can fill this in. And then it was, bam, bigger room.
Yeah.
You did definitely, there were some things that did not fit my expectations at all, like my predictions of where things were going to go in a couple of places. Like when we had the bright light coming out of one of the stained glasses in the first room, it was pointing to some interesting bricks. A beam of concentrated light, I super thought we were going to have to get some mirror and point it at the vines to burn them.
Oh, funny.
But no, burning came later.
That's a good thought, actually. It's interesting hosting it, how often people come up with a theory that just does not occur to you when you're making it.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, it's crazy how the number of things I've added into my notes because someone's come up with this wild theory or idea.
What sorts of things have changed as this room has evolved?
So I've done things like, an example of what I was just saying there is using the dining table knives to cut the rope. I was then like, oh, I never thought of that. Okay, yeah, pop that in my notes. But things, even the wordiness of it, I have actually cut out a lot of wordiness. Initially, when I was hosting this, it ran so long and I felt really bad every time I hosted someone because I was like, they are losing interest because it's just waffling on because I focused so much on the story initially.
And it is a difficult thing because you want the good, thorough story, but there is just a thing about certain mediums and just how people's brains are focused in any given moment that attention wanes in that way. Like, if you've been a game master, I'm sure you've seen it all the time. In real physical rooms, people can't read.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. The number of times you send a clue that has 2 sentences and they read the first sentence and then move away, and you're like, no, the important information's the next bit.
A time limit breaks your brain.
It does. It fully does. Time doesn't make sense in an escape room. But yeah, I mean, I am a prime example of having quite a short attention span. So if somebody does waffle at me for a long time, I'm likely to tune out.
Yeah, and figuring out that balance, it's tricky.
But as you said, it was also something that made the room stand out as a nice room. Like the amount that you did have there gave it a really nice narrative and feeling and character. So you can't get rid of it completely. You can't just be like, you enter a room, sarcophagus, portrait, paintings, go.
Yeah, I will note that you had plenty of all of this vivid description, but I don't think anything on my page feels like, oh no, I drew this unnecessarily because it was part of the narration that turned out to not matter. So it's not like what you were saying was unimportant.
Yeah, okay, I appreciate that. I think that's something that I definitely had to tweak a little bit. There was maybe descriptions of things that didn't need to be there in the original version of it. I also only last night added the fact that the gramophone didn't have a dial. That was added yesterday. Because before that, the gramophone was all fully intact. So as soon as you had the ears blocked, you could change the speed. But I decided it should be slightly more complicated than that. So getting the trunk open and finding the dial in there was added in yesterday.
But think about it. If that dial had been there, we never would have assumed that we needed the dial for the spider puzzle, and we would have gone straight into the spider puzzle.
But then
this is true.
I'm just saying, with a dial in place,
everything.
It would have cut 20 minutes from the room.
So then the big shift that would have happened was we could have then followed and still cascaded through a lot of the room until we would have ground to a halt when we got this potion creation. Because we
wouldn't have done the spiders
stuff for that.
But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting the way something small can change for individual people. Because it just... The fact that we couldn't solve the sleepy problem and having spiders that were kind of waiting to get fed made me go, oh, they're the same thing. Therefore, it's
That's
all
true.
locked behind.
I'm sorry. This was likely my fault for poking them. That was what started the misunderstanding.
That's true. If
I was
you hadn't poked those spiders, Danny, we would have fed them flies instead.
Into the broom.
We really could have fed them flies. No, as soon as we were told there are too many flies, don't worry about how many. It's like, oh, great, then these are something for spiders. So, yeah, we could have done that at any point.
Definitely.
I had a friend who played it the other day with another friend who, when the spider puzzle came up, he could not get over how ridiculous it was that the spiders had a smell and that told you what food they liked. And then when they stood up and had different numbered legs, they were like, what is happening? What is this thing that you... I was like, nothing makes sense. Don't try and make it make sense.
I didn't question it for a second. I've never tried smelling a spider. This might be how it works.
Yeah, problem is usually spiders just eat bugs, and then spiders also smell like bugs. So that makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
If they ate apple bugs, they'd smell like apple.
It very well may be.
This is it. There's not been enough research done into it, and this is what I'm going to try and fund for 2027.
When your friend was like, oh, they shouldn't smell like that, did you say, okay, what does a spider smell like? You tell me.
Well, yeah,
you tell me what a spider smells like.
Yeah, I should have turned it into a challenge.
Like, when did you last smell a spider?
Do spiders fart?
No, they've got book lungs.
Do they have
and somehow
butts?
that changes things.
It's not known.
Whether they can fart?
It's uncertain.
No one's ever smelled a spider's. No one's ever smelled a spider's fart.
This is amazing, but yeah, everything like
happened,
the AI that pops up at the top says "don't know, highly unlikely." The next link says "don't know, highly likely." So no one has any idea with any certainty. But the big constant is nobody knows.
Here's what happened.
So how has anyone ever known what a spider smells like? Really?
I know exactly what happened here, Danny. Lucifer's down here making a deal with the family.
Uh-huh.
He gets up to leave.
Yeah.
And then some spiders in the corner say, "Hey, Lucifer, while you're here, I really love eating. I really love eating flies.
Mm-hmm.
Could you make me smell like the favorite food of a fly, so it'll come to me and I'll be able to eat it?"
That makes perfect
and Lucifer was
sense.
like, "Yeah, sure." And then in return, there's a gecko somewhere in the walls, trapped to give these spiders immortal youth and smell. An innocent gecko.
I don't even think you need to deal with Lucifer to make this happen. I think you could just assume there is some evolutionary pressure that would make a spider smell like its favorite food's favorite food.
I don't know, Danny. I think evolution is a lie put there by Lucifer just to make you think that.
Well, then how will we ever resolve this?
So therefore, get your friend to tell him he's an idiot and he didn't even think about Lucifer.
Come on!
You didn't think about Spider Lucifer?
Did you not listen to my story?
Tiny Spider Satan?
If you look closely enough, they do have tiny little skull badges. Just
exactly. You just couldn't see it.
And a tiny little contract.
Yeah, in return, he said, "I'm going to mess up your legs. That'll be the price. I don't need any spider souls, but I'll mess your legs up."
Poor thing. They looked happy enough, even though they had funny legs. They were all right.
Yeah, and the apple spider was fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Joke's on the Tavishes. They all died. Deal
Dummies.
with the devil and you still die?
Yeah.
I know,
Nice
they didn't.
one.
They should have looked at the small print.
So embarrassing. And I suppose at the end, when we had read all of the stuff about the moon lilies, we even specifically said, great, we'd need to try to light a fire. Let's not try to do an explosion until we absolutely have to get out of here. And then somehow, when we got to the bookshelf, we blanked for just a moment. And
Yes,
then,
and you-
just at the right moment,
I had no idea.
Of course,
No.
this is the time!
Yeah.
And that was just you. I was not thinking about the explosion at all until you mentioned it. I was desperately trying to think of ways that we could chip through this wall with a tool somewhere. I didn't think about the explosion.
Yeah.
To be fair,
that made me
the other valid way of doing that bit is the hatchet. You've still got the hatchet. You can
That's
hack
true.
and slash that
the wall.
bookcase.
That is very
I
fair.
assumed
There's
it got
so
lost
many-
down the rope hole.
The explosion's the more fun way of doing it.
I'll say, I didn't even draw the hatchet. I drew the dial that we found, but I never drew the hatchet.
Mm.
So that was
and
never going to
also,
happen.
How many people made a poultice to heal their little burnt finger?
Oh, good question.
It has happened, I think, 3 times out of... I would say it's like a 50-50.
Like that's a Steam achievement on the digital version of this game.
It's
Get
very
out
cute. Yeah,
intact.
Yeah, heal your fingers.
It's important.
Very nice.
Yeah, no, I like when people dive into the whole plant stuff. That's fun. multi-purpose
I love
plants.
if you did gate something with it just later on for no, like you go to pick up the bowls to serve the soup, but your finger just hurts too much, and picking up the bowl is too much of an effort.
Look, that's
you give
real.
up.
I feel that.
The minor pain in
I
your
have been there.
fingertip. You can't hold a bowl.
The funny thing is as well, just that another thing that I've thought about changing before is that in the last kind of 5 minutes of the game, there's not really any puzzles. It's kind of just story, and then you tell me, we're going to do exactly what you've told us to do. But then I eventually was like, actually, do you know what? That's fine. It leans into the tabletop role-playing part of it.
And it can be good because it definitely means there's not going to be any sit down and silently think in the big dramatic finale.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. So I've kept it the same, and I like how it flows now.
Yeah, I think it works great.
Yeah, I think when you're doing like puzzles at the end, the only like things you can end up putting in there are stuff that kind of we already did near the end, which is the like, oh, you can't get to the book. And it's the sort of puzzle that doesn't require any process, any idea, just like, oh, explosion, you know?
Yeah,
and then, like that's enough. That's the kind of end game or like mid-conclusion puzzles that work.
Yeah.
Are these idea of like, just get them to shout the right word or say. And then, you know, we
shout the right word that is usually a callback to something a bit earlier.
Like when we obviously had to whisper the name Casper.
Yeah.
Which was a bit, by the way. I hope everyone knows that was a bit to say Casper.
Absolutely.
It's clearly meant to be Rachel.
Yeah.
But no, look, it was really fun. It's a really good room.
Thank you.
I had a lot of fun
really
with it.
Enjoyable.
It was definitely like long. It took us 2 hours to do the recording, and there wasn't really a huge amount of time we were stuck.
No, not a crazy amount of downtime.
Mostly just because it was kind of like 2 rooms. Each of these almost could be their own room. Like you could, because the first one we got through at about 55
certainly difficult
minutes.
to separate the story into.
Oh yes, story-wise, it's one room.
Yeah,
but the actual physical layout, like that first room, if you added like one extra puzzle to it, that's a like a great length, because that took us, I would say, after the intro, like 50 minutes of gameplay. And I think part of that is just like, I think for some of these, and Dani, you found this on a previous season. You started writing what you thought would be really, really small rooms.
Yep.
And then they ended up being rooms that were taking us an hour.
Oh, it's outrageous.
Because all of our what felt like normal length rooms were taking close to 2 hours with guests.
But the hardest part of that is making it feel like you have a complete story in a succinct amount of time.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see the changes in that, and how little you can do to get a lot of time out if you're aiming for a 1 hour episode. This was a great amount of puzzle to do. But yeah, it's interesting. You could almost, if you added 1 or 2 little things, you could then make 2 full 1 hour experiences out of this.
Yeah.
So they're just off being full escape.
So what we're saying is that you are in a prime position to start writing mini arcs.
Yeah, you can write little connected arcs of 3 or 4 rooms together. But it's interesting. It was very good fun. And obviously, so these two you wouldn't literally separate because it's all one story and they're all connected that way.
But if I were doing a 2-room mini arc, this would be a fantastic 2-episode mini arc.
Yeah.
It would be wonderful.
And the first episode ends with, you're falling down, and you crash into the middle of the dark.
Yeah.
See you next week.
That candles puzzle, classic sort of thing that I feel, you see this sort of thing in a real escape room of placing candles into the appropriate spots by that. I love it. You did do really well at incorporating physical feeling puzzles.
Yeah, physicality into it.
Yeah,
in a way that I struggle with because I don't understand how the physical world works, as evidenced by my gramophone problems.
I don't know why I had such a problem with it. There's a dial that makes it go faster.
I don't know what makes a gramophone go faster or slower. I've never had to do that.
The motor inside that spins it.
For all I know, there's just something on the spindle that you tilt it a certain way and it goes faster. I don't know. I kind of thought they did it on their own, and you just had
That's why there's a dial.
I thought you had to get a gramophone that only that had one speed, and that the records.
Well, you got to go for the really old ones where the person stands there cranking the thing the whole time.
True. We have one of them in one of our escape rooms has that.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
and then they're just gonna sit there cranking at the right speed.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, look, thank you so much for bringing that on for us to play. You're
very
really
welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
Has this experience made you want to take your earlier room and also bring it for us to play?
Yeah, I would absolutely do that for you. I think that one is definitely a shorter room. And I think the puzzles are still really fun. And it's more silly. It's kind of inspired by the experience of being a game master slightly, like being a physical escape room game master.
We had a couple of ones like that, like sort of funny escape room setting rooms back in the day. That's been years since we've played one like that.
Yeah, but if you ever want it, please just let me know. It's called Clocked Out. Because our company's called Locked In, so it's called Clocked Out.
We'll put you back on the next 2-year waiting list.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. I'll see you in 2035.
And Chris, before you go, if people wanted to hear more about what you do, or if they enjoyed this, they want to find more Chris out in the world, is there anywhere they should go for that?
So on social media, I don't have an awful lot of a presence. I don't do very much social media stuff, but if you do want to look me up, I'm Chris McLeish91. You're more likely to see pictures of my kayaks and my crochet crafts. That's probably the kind of stuff you'll find on there. But I do have a podcast, currently a little bit dormant, but it's called A Wee Bit Gothic. It covers all sorts of Scottish dark stories. So there's true crime, there's literature, architecture, haunted buildings, ghosties, all that kind of stuff. All the kind of stuff I love. Scotland has so much of that stuff to offer. And if you want to hear about the Necropolis in particular, if you go to episode 12, which is called Sheep Are Great, then you can hear all about the Necropolis.
Well, look, thank you so much for coming and running that for us. Thank you, Dani, for playing the game with me.
Thank you.
And thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you want to help support the show, and I do mean this, please tell someone about it. Go tell a person you know, tell a person you don't know, talk about it somewhere, write a local newspaper article about it. Just talk about the show online, in person, and get people to give it a listen. It gets harder and harder to know whether something is made by real people nowadays. And so check it out. Tell people to check it out and they'll be like, great, this is wonderful. And they'll find something new. So thank you so much for people who do tell people about the show. It is the best way to grow as a show. You can also support us on Patreon. Anyone who signs up at any level can appear as an NPC in one of Dani's rooms. But you didn't appear in this one unless your name's Rachel. But that's not our doing. You'll appear later on yourself. But there's also bonus audio for the $5 donors, a new show every week. There's a new show every week for the $10 donors, plus a monthly video. There is that's 2 new shows every week for the $10 donors. The $20 donors get another weekly show. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff there that you can check out. Or if you can't support us monthly, you can buy individual packs of episodes that are very old, bonus audio that we have from years ago at the start of the Patreon. So you can buy those as well. There's a link in the show notes if you want to check them out. Thank you, everybody who supports us. It's how we support the show. And thank you once again, Chris, for coming on and running it for us. And
thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.